Welcome to Bring Out Your Badass Self, a movement to break your negative thoughts and habits and instead focus on building each other up and encouraging fearless authenticity.
Each week, we will get vulnerable and share experiences alongside our guests and audience. Come rediscover your inner badass self.
Good morning, badass.
Good morning. How are you doing this morning?
I am good. Good. Yeah.
Are you getting sleep?
No.
No.
No. No, I'm not. I don't know. It's been a topic on my mind lately to figure out what to do again. Yeah.
We need to transmute that energy, whatever that is, right?
Yes. Part of the issue is Jenna's not here with some of the kids, and that's rare. So then, I'm just like a baby. If anything slightly changes, I'm like, no, I don't like. I need my routine.
Yeah, routines can be important. That
Yes.
consistency. Yeah.
Yes. So I pretended to sleep all week. And then tonight I'm probably just gonna go for it because I'm gonna be reflooring. So I figure I'll just stay up until like my body stops wanting to be awake,
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah.
Aw. Well, let's hope
How are you?
get the energy out that you need and get some good sleep because that's super important.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. How are you?
I'm doing well. My daughter is back from her whirlwind tour of going to Europe, then going to Aunt Kelly's, then going to Grandma's, and now she's at a girlfriend's house. She does, so the girlfriend stayed here last night, and then she's over there, and I'm like, it's great seeing you.
Summer, like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, she hit up your mom in Missouri, but then didn't they go to like Florida or something?
Oh yeah, no, they my mom's in South Carolina, and so they went down to Orlando. Yeah, but that's where I'm originally from, is Missouri.
Okay. When where's Kelly? I don't remember.
She's in Georgia now. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very
so
cool.
She's already trying to hit up her big sister, going, "Hey, don't you need someone coming over there for a while?"
She's like, she got home and she's like, you know what? I'm out again. I'm just like,
she just wants to travel. She's like she's a Sagittarius, so she likes the adventure of things. She's like, all right, what am I doing next?
Yeah. No, I get it. And once you get the travel bug, like, it's hard to stay still, right? So.
Oh yeah.
I get it.
It's one of the things that I've said that I felt like once she graduated, I've always said that I think she'll become a gypsy, just, like traveling around and going and exploring things and becoming like a travel person that talks about her experiences and things like that. Unfortunately, we made her a little too bougie that I'm not sure she will do what it is she needs to do to just live wherever. I need a nice place.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and it'll only get worse as she gets older, I'm sure. So she's already bougie. Oof. Right? Like, Jenna says that about me. She's like, I did not start this bougie. Like, you made me this bougie. She's like, I was not this. And now she's the one, like, if we stop, like on some of our, big road trips, sometimes it's just like we grab a motel, right? Yeah. And so we walk in and twice she's been like, nope, turn around. I'm like, oh my God, we're tired. The kids don't care. The kids are like, we don't care. And she's like, I don't care that they don't care.
The only thing
somewhere else
is a king bed, because my husband and I do not do well in like a double bed. So I'm like, that's my only mandate. I don't really care, one way or the other. Now my husband, on the other hand, he'll be like, where are we?
Yeah. It's not even sometimes the cleanliness. She'll be like, I don't like the smell. I'll be like, what?
Oh my God.
You're like, yep. So
Well, as
whatever.
you guys are coming in, please say hello. I do see Jen joining us. Good morning. She said, Happy 111. Yes, we said that
Yeah.
as well. And it's such an appropriate episode number for today's topic
Absolutely.
of changing your energy, transmuting that energy. And so 111 being about new beginnings and about looking at positivity in your life, which is a lot of the conversation we're going to be having today with Danielle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And
Well,
so
thank you,
thanks,
J-Ro.
yeah, thanks for joining us from the Sunshine State. And as everyone else gets in, just please say hello. I know we have Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, and I know we do tend to have some lurkers and also replay people. So hello to the replay people as well, especially like our California people that that end up coming in a little bit later. And
Right.
sometimes we have people that will join us, and I'm like, how are you getting up so early?
Yeah, right.
Kim said, Good morning and happy Friday to my favorite beautiful badass ladies. Thank you, Miss Kim. Back at you. Yeah. All right. Well, let's do this. Let's bring Miss Danielle Gray up to the stage. Give me just one moment. And I'm also going to make sure
Right.
she's off of mute. Good morning, Danielle. Thank you for
Good
joining
morning.
us.
Yes, I'm happy to be here. I mean, honestly, I see the 111, so I mean, alignment. So I'm happy to be here. Excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does 111 mean to you?
I think everything is what we believe it to be. So for me, if I see 1-1, I believe that means that I'm where I need to be at the time that I need to be there. So I go with that. And if I don't feel like that, and I see 1-1, I won't assign that to it. But I think it's whatever I need it to be, and I feel like I believe in those omens and good signs. So I believe this is exactly where I'm supposed to be right now today.
I think that as well.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about today's topic. I'm just to maybe give people a little bit of background. So I first saw Danielle present at an SMPS. I think it was a Atlanta or SERC. I think it was SERC
Mhm.
event. And have you ever seen someone that you're like, that person is destined to be, and do? Like, I just saw like the way that she presented and the things that she talked about, the way she also did it, and then just continuing to watch her. She was just one of those people that I was like, I'm going to continue to watch her because she's going to continue to grow and continue to grow big time. And so I really just have enjoyed watching you transform over the years.
Thank you so much. It's so interesting because, you think about how much you change every year. And that was like about 3 or 4 versions of me ago when we first met. And I think that was 2017. It was like one of my first big presentations. And it was a big deal for me. And I was so excited to show up as myself talking about something I loved, and it was a packed room, and it's been pretty great ever since. So thank you for seeing
Yeah,
me. I appreciate you seeing me. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And
I love that.
I told them both this morning that I knew that both of them would love each other, Kate
Yeah.
and Danielle, because they both just have positivity about them, just a light that shines in both of them. So I hope that as we continue on, that you and Kate will continue to get to know each other more as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm excited too. I could totally tell as well. Like in the first few minutes, I'm like, oh, we're going to get along. We're going to get along.
All right.
Tell sometimes, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And real quick, I did see that we have Bryce saying hello and good morning. Thank you for joining us, Bryce. He's one of those people on the West Coast side of the house. So he's coming in, super early. So it's 7 o'clock there. Maybe
Yeah.
he's still in his bed. No, I was
Yes. No, he's got babies, so he's probably awake,
Oh, that makes sense. I didn't think about that. That does make more sense. I remember those days. Holy moly. Well,
Yeah.
today, as we are going to be talking, as you know, we are continuing our conversation on the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. And so I thought I might throw it out to Danielle to ask her a little bit about when I asked you about this particular episode and joining us for this topic, what about your life experience came to mind?
Hmm.
So, good question. One, I was very flattered to start off, just because to be able to be a guest on about a topic like this is very flattering. So I'm very grateful for that. And then I think the life experience that really came up for me. I have not talked about this really at all.
Mhm.
Um, so the timing, and I feel this is such a safe space, so I'm happy to share it now. About I guess this was March, uh, beginning of April, I found out that my mom had just been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer.
Oh, no.
And so um, it was the timing of that, and like figuring out, what does this look like? How do I transmute this energy?
Mm,
And trying to explore what that felt like, how to be present and be truly present in the moments, which that's something I've been actively working through. Also, being a caretaker, being
mm,
aware of that energy and protecting my own energy while all of this is going on. So that's what popped up for me. It was just like, whoa, this is. I felt like this was going to be a really healing conversation for me. And so I was
mm.
happy to have it, especially since we had had that very immediate connection years ago. And I was happy to have it and to continue that conversation. So that's what immediately popped up. And I was like, okay, maybe, yes, there'll be a conversation, but perhaps there's places that I can heal and work through and talk through that will help me with this whole experience. So, yeah, that's what immediately popped up for me. It's very real, very real. Yeah,
Absolutely. I'm
yeah,
so sorry you guys are going through that.
yeah, yeah.
Um, and and I feel really grateful that you feel safe enough to like
Mhm.
share that and to start that healing process with us.
Yeah,
Um, I just love that. It warms my heart. And it's a bittersweet moment, right? Because I'm super sad for you guys at the same time, right?
yeah,
Like it's not cool that we have to experience this stuff. That's just like it's just the worst in so many
yeah,
ways, right? So
yeah.
what an opportunity to figure out how to transmute energy,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And that's what it is, right? It's an opportunity, and life is full of contrast. I feel like there's been such beauty in my world at the same time. So, both exist, and both,
Mm,
I think having those moments, or those, I guess, those moments of rain really helps you really be appreciative for the sunshine. So, yeah,
yeah,
I think I have much more gratitude than I have ever had recently, just because I'm like, wow, life is okay. It's not perfect, but it's okay. Like
right,
I can do this. So yeah,
yeah,
When
yeah,
you, as sometimes when we see our family members going through things, also becomes reflective to us.
yeah.
In okay, you also know other things that your mother has gone through, and
Hmm.
so what I have come to believe is that sometimes the trauma that we haven't dealt with sometimes manifests itself in disease. So then that sometimes can become a reflection for us of, oh, what do I also need to work on so I can transmute maybe that generational, you know, things that are happening, so it doesn't also transpire and become me later on in life.
Ooh, Sarah, you are honestly, and I think that's been a big part of this too, is like being very aware of the things that I see
Hmm.
in her, and recognizing that maybe there was some rage, there was some things, some energy that stayed,
Yeah.
right? And if we don't transmute it, we do know science tells us that it turns into sickness and it turns physical. So I recognize that, and I was like, ooh, what are some things that are sitting on me that I need to make sure I release, and be honest about if I'm angry about something, working that energy out. Because I've always been like, oh, I'm I'm about happiness. I'm about, just like to be peaceful.
Yeah.
But those are real things too that I can't ignore because we have to pay attention to the full spectrum of those feelings. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you were saying. So I tried not to jump up and like get. I was like, I got to stay in this frame,
Stay in
but
the frame, yeah.
stay in the frame. But yeah, I mean, there's some real work being had right now, and I'm grateful for it. I mean, this is what
Yeah.
I believe we chose certain things to go on this path as we're here. So I'm happy to like, okay, is this the work, and just lean into it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's what it is. Yeah. Yeah.
I love that. Lean into it. I also, some of the things that you said is that, yes, we talk about being positive, but positive doesn't mean ignoring.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times that's also what sometimes people equate to sometimes being positive. Oh, I'm just going to ignore it. I'm just going to avoid it. Versus like, oh, I also need to pay attention to this and truly become grateful, find the positivity in sometimes the pain.
Mm-hmm.
And so as we go through things, it's finding the things we can be grateful for. That's really where the positivity is. It's not necessarily ignoring
Mm-hmm.
those things that are going on, but it's understanding the things that we do have in life. And are you able to share where your mom is in this business battle?
Yeah. So one thing I want to respond to what you were saying about positivity. There's actually something that I've been working through, which is peace.
Mm,
So I have this tattoo, is peace over everything. That it's reminds me. And that's what I've been leaning into, rather because I think positivity can, like, people misconstrue that a bit, and I'm like, you
yes.
know what, peace is not perfection.
Right.
Mm,
Peace is, I can have peace about a situation that is not, doesn't feel good or anything like that. So that's where I've been leaning into is peace, and how can I find peace with things. And that, to me, that's my nervous system relaxed, me just being accepting and like leaning into whatever the thing is. And as far as my mom's journey is actually, it's quite a it's not great. Right, like it's not great. We're talking about palliative care, so this is not something that is technically going to be cured. So what are the conversations that I need to be having?
yes.
What are, just being very, this has been some work. I'm like, whoo,
Yeah.
okay. But I
Yeah.
think that there's a lot of beauty in it, and we are, uh, and I may be leaning into the conversations that also she may not be ready for. So I have to be conscious and aware of that too. Uh,
Right.
but right now, it's okay. She's okay. I'm okay, and in this present moment, she's okay. And
Yeah.
so that is where I just been working at 24 hours at a time. And
Yeah.
so today is a good day. It's 111. It's July 11th. Like, I mean, all is well right now, and
Yeah.
that is okay with me. And that's where I stay as best as I can.
I
Yeah.
love that.
I don't know. I
I
don't
do
know.
have to tell you, my dad is coming in for me. So my dad passed away of cancer,
Okay.
and of small cell lung cancer, and they basically told him he would not be able to. That he would eventually pass away
Hmm.
of it. They gave him 10 months. He ended up living almost 2 years. He fought it almost 3 times. But
Mhm.
for me, I just felt a piece of energy from him. And one of the things that someone had told me is that I ended up doing with my father before he was at a point that he couldn't understand is I told him how I felt about him. You know,
Mm.
I just let it all out on the table and
Yeah.
really just talked to him. And I was so glad that someone told me to do that,
Mm.
because now I actually feel closer to my father now that he's passed away than when he was here. It's a
Yeah.
strange feeling
Yeah.
to have. So for whatever reason, that was information that I felt like I needed to convey to you.
That is exactly what I needed to hear. Thank you. I
Yeah.
received that totally. Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Oh, I love it. What a beautiful moment, guys.
Mhm.
I think your focus on peace is such an interesting thing to think about in terms of transmutation of energy, right? Like we think of peace as this like stillness,
Mhm.
right? That's what we think of it. But like a lot of times it's also a balance between two places. I like the word harmony a lot too,
Mhm.
because to me, it reflects what you were saying, you know, that imperfect aspect to life, and all these journeys that we go down and all of the fucking ups and downs,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like there's so many.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and so that taking it like every 24 hours at a time and allowing it to just be what it is meant to be,
Mhm.
that is a transmutation of energy. That is taking the things around you and like radically accepting them and allowing them to just be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Just be. I mean, that's we only have now,
Right.
like, so there is no such thing as like living in the future. Like,
Mm.
so I think that is for me, like, okay, if this is what I have, okay. Like, like this is, and let me be here. Let me be here. Cause there's been so many times that I've been here and not here. Thinking
Yes.
Mm.
about the past, thinking about the future. And that's something that I've obsessed about the future a
Oh,
lot.
right. Right.
So it's like, well, what's gonna happen? What's this? And I don't know. I don't know, but what I do know
I'm
is
here now.
this,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So,
And
um,
I think these like death, nothing can ground us more than the thought of death, right?
mhm.
You know, my birth mother died of cancer right before I turned 1. And so, and my dad remarried soon after, and I had a wonderful mom that raised me. But I always had this like environment around me of life is short. Life will throw you a curveball in a fucking heartbeat, right? So,
Yeah.
you
Don't
know,
talk about it.
that's the energy. Like that's what my dad lived. That's
Mm,
what we all embraced. My mom went into lifelong work with the elderly and really helping a lot of people transition
mhm.
into death. And so um, I think that is the biggest transmutation of energy, right? Like we're our life source, right? Like going from being alive in this moment
Mhm.
to not.
Yeah, yeah.
That's massive, right?
Mhm.
And then trying to think about how you are going to react and how you're going to keep breathing, moving forward. Like those things are also massive weights. And the truth is you have no idea.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Mm.
But if you hold on to that presence,
Mhm.
you'll be okay,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm. Mhm. And
Yeah.
there's tools, to be able to work through those things, and that's why I'm grateful that there are certain tools that I can pull out, like, "Ooh, okay, this is a hard day."
Yeah.
we
What
pull out
what
these.
are some of the daily practices that you do?
Oh yeah. So I believe so. How I kind of describe how what I am doing is like there's a recipe for peace
Mm,
in a way, and this is my recipe. Everybody, I think everybody has their own. When I am my best self, I wake up, I meditate, and when I meditate, there's a lot of different ways you can meditate. There's two strong ones that I do. One is imagining my ideal self. Like
mm,
who is that person and how does she need to show up? Who is she? How does she look? What does she wear? What is she and
Mm.
just embody that and kind of practice that for the rest of the day. The other thing that I do is really put myself in my perfect moment where I need nothing and practice the feeling of needing nothing, in that like pure peace. Like, what is that? You have to like, I'm big in visualizations. I think that's really good. Uh,
mhm.
but also, I like to practice how I feel. Like, let me practice the feeling,
Yeah.
because there's been times that maybe my visualization is actually not big enough, right? It's actually maybe looks bigger for me. So let
Mm,
me focus on how I feel. I want to, I say, and all of these are in present tense. I am at peace. I am grateful. I am loved. I am supported. I am protected. I am safe. You know,
yeah.
so those are, I do those affirmations daily. Again, at my best. I'm not always doing it every day,
Right.
but that's when I feel really good. So meditation, affirmations, stretching. I think that we hold a lot of energy in our body, obviously, too. So, especially in the hips.
Mm,
So, working out the hips, doing stretching, some movement. Like that's the big thing for me is movement. A practice that I really try to work on is drinking my water.
mm,
And I know, like, I have, I'm like, I know I need to drink my water, but what I have started to think of is like this is my life force. Like this is a life force. This is cleansing my soul, my body, my spirit. So if I do it in that with that practice in mind, that helps me. Journaling, getting some of the thoughts out, and again, this is pretty much every day. Like, I mean, this doesn't take that much time, but
Yeah.
feeling like how I feel, like, and what I'm thinking, and again, one of the really cool practices that I do is I really do write out everything in present tense of all the things that I really want. So, um,
mm,
most recently, manifestation was I'm in a new house, but when I went through a pretty bad breakup. That was like 5.5 years. Didn't see it coming. Should have. That's a whole nother conversation. But it came out of nowhere, and I was back in my mom's house, kind of starting from nothing. Felt like anyway. I had
Yeah.
some things, but there was a lot of stuff that I was starting over from. So I just was like, I love my fenced backyard. My dog loves our new house. I love listening to Bob Marley while I'm cooking in my kitchen. And so,
Yeah.
like, I was so specific, and I felt that, like, as I'm writing it, I'm feeling it. And the fact that the other day I'm in my fenced in backyard, writing that I remember writing about this. So, those are like the daily practices that I'm like I believe really help and put me in the mindset, and I think attract and how I like to say kind of put my antenna up to be able to see and feel and receive the things that are for me.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I
Ah,
love all of that.
me
Yeah.
too.
Thanks.
We
Me
have some
too.
comments coming in. I do want to go over here. So Myra has joined us. She said, "Good morning, ladies. Good
Morning, Myra.
morning, Myra." And then I think this is the first time that you have joined us. And so, Buckery, or is that how your name is pronounced? Let us know. He said, "Well articulated. Indeed, positivity is not about avoiding circumstances or running away from the reality of feeling the essence of emotional pain. The term positivity has been misconstrued wildly by folks who lack the understanding of embracing a positive outlook on life.
Mm.
Well
So
said.
thank you for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And then Brenda Lees is here. She said, "Hello, ladies. It's been a while."
Hi.
Thank you. It's good to see you. I think, you'll very much resonate with today's conversation. So, Brenda Lees is known for meditation and helping people with meditation. So, the things you just said, I think probably very much resonated with her. She also had been on the show with us as well, and she uh, transmuted energy as well to change her circumstances in
Uh,
life. So we're so glad that you are here. We do have a couple more comments. And so, exactly my philosophy, we only have the present moment. The future is an illusion, as the scripture teaches us, have no worries for tomorrow. So, and he said, absolutely, writing and physical exercise are essential and can help release tension. So, thank you for that. Thank you for joining us, everyone. And so I love all of the different things that you provided us in advice. And the thing that sort of stands out is it's simple stuff. It's not that hard. It's things that anybody really can do. And I think that that's a lot of when we think about transmuting energy, sometimes we look to others to help us to be the savior, to change our situation. When in
Yeah.
actuality, it's going within and understanding, okay, what do I need to do to be
mhm.
able to transmute this energy? And again, it's going back to not avoiding the things we need to pay attention to as well. So I wanted to dive in a little bit more, maybe into your experiences and where you have embraced change and transformed your life in maybe a significant way, examples that you might share with us related to your life.
Yeah, sure. So I think something that you said really resonated with me just now, as far as, us looking outside. Someone help me, save me. I think that feel like, that takes we have to be responsible for our own happiness, our own peace. So
Mm,
something I learned within the last 2 years as I've been kind of rewriting and reimagining how I want my life to be is self-soothing.
mm,
We have to know what it takes to self-soothe. So
mm,
that was something I was actually like going through this breakup, and I'm like, I want to blame you. You did the, all
Yeah.
the different things. It's so much easier to do that. But I really had to
mm,
do some, okay, you know what? It doesn't even matter what now that I've had this experience, what can
mm,
I take from it? And so um this that I'll say that that was my breakup. And I think it's all grief, it's all these different things. It was a big deal for me. It
Mhm.
really um changed me in the most beautiful way. Let me
mm,
say. Um I didn't realize how much I was dimming myself,
mhm.
and not because anybody asked me to.
Yep.
I have to take full responsibility of that too. So, it was that I felt like I can do that. I don't mind. I don't, just this dimming. So I think that part of my life, I realized, you know what? I want to be big. Let's see. What if, what if I did not dim at all? What if I
Let it fly.
just let it because who, like what are we here for, and so um I think that was a really pivotal moment for me. One being very taking a lot of accountability for myself. What did I put into this? And deciding how I want to change my whole life. So I think that there was a lot that came with that. The other thing was we also had a business together. And so it was, I had to be honest, like, w- I was trying to keep it all together for the business or this. And so there was a lot of truth that I had to just like eat. I was like, ooh, I don't want this. Like this is too much.
Yeah.
Um, but I think that all of that truth that I just was like, you know what? I'm happy to take it in. And not happy to. Let me reframe that. I need to take in for me to move to the next level. I think there's a level of truth that we have to absorb and be honest with.
Mhm.
And I refuse to stay stuck. So I'm like, ugh, is this the lesson? Is this the lesson today? Like, okay, okay,
Hear
fine.
it.
Like, so I think there's so many things, but I think grief and loss has been one of the biggest teachers. And that is, what I do understand about that is that, what my belief is when I am going through something very hard, I
Mhm.
also believe that I know for a fact, just because it has proven itself, that something beautiful is on the other side. Doesn't mean everything is perfect, but there is something that I can take and I will take from this experience. And so from my mom to my breakup, it's like this is how I'm showing up, and I love how I'm showing up right now. This is who I am. This is like, I'm working on a book. I'm talking about peace. I've been listening a lot for the last year. So here I am speaking, and I'm happy to start doing that again. It's exciting.
I love that for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
And I think finding that way to get unstuck,
Hmm.
and maybe if we could focus a little bit more on that, like what were some of the practices or things that you did you talked a little bit about just sort of reframing. You talked about looking at, instead of blaming the other person, looking at what it is that you need to do. Is there any other things that you think people should consider whenever they feel stuck?
Um, so I think there's a stuck in stillness. I think we need to
Mhm.
be very aware of those
Mm.
two things. So, um, I decided to reframe. I think there's so much you can do to just
Yeah.
reframe your mind. And so I found that so here's a great example. I love speaking. I've been doing it for a while, but I just didn't have anything to say, and I felt stuck.
Yeah.
Mm.
Do I talk about marketing because that's what I do? That's what I love. I'm good. I love that, but I just wasn't. What do I want to say about? I already kind of said what I wanted to say about that. Well, and I felt like I was stuck. But the
Mm.
truth is that I think that life is like listening and speaking. Like it's not all going to be, um, you know. I think there's cycles. There's things that we need to take in, and so I've reframed, and the idea of stuck is stillness. And maybe there's something I need to there's a reason why I'm here, right? Like
Mhm.
if I'm here in this stillness, let me look around. Let me really assess and not be afraid. I think that um it's easy to try to avoid, and I've seen it with friends that have cycled out of my life of you know being honest about that too, like okay, like what's here that doesn't connect in not who my ideal self is. Like, does my ideal self hang out with this person? Does my
Yeah.
ideal self look at it in this way? So I think it's you know stuck is something that everybody, I guess, will go through. But I think if we reframe it to stillness, I think we can kind of look at it differently. And
Mm.
so for me, it was just like, what's here that I can take with me? What's here
Interesting.
that can grow me?
It's interesting you use the word stillness, because when you said peace earlier,
Hmm.
for me, stillness is when I'm in at peace.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so whenever I feel like in just a stillness of, it's just a release, it's just
Hmm.
a feeling. And so, but I can also equate, as you said, stillness to also feeling stuck.
Yeah.
And so it's an interesting feeling of stillness can be both,
Yeah.
or
Mhm.
both of those things,
Yeah.
or it could be one or the other.
Hmm. Hmm. And I think it is. I think that technically, I think it's just a reframe. It's
Mhm.
what do you want to say? And I think words have power. I'm not stuck. I'm
Yeah.
still.
Yeah.
And
Right.
that's like, I think that's what I've been very conscious. I think that's another one of the things that I've really worked through is making sure that I'm very intentional about my words,
Mm.
Yeah.
saying things that I only want to bring about in the world. I think, words are spells. And,
Mm.
you know, when I hear people talk negatively about themselves, I don't want to be a part. I'm not doing that.
No.
And because I've been there, I've done that.
Yeah.
And actually, it is, when we're talking about transmuting energy, that's literally one of the ways, like, okay, that's one way to take it. And you may feel stuck, I feel still. So, and it's not a different feeling. I think there's some frustration or, annoyance with that. But it's like, I think peace has really just resonated with me, because I think it is a strategy. It's a way to look at life. And I think in the world that we're living in, it's about go, 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 content,
Yeah.
everything has to happen so quickly, but that's not really human.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I think that we're in an age of information. And I heard this, I thought it was really interesting about the idea of information losing its value to an extent because you can get it anywhere.
Yeah.
Like but what you can't get anywhere is that feeling, that thing, that pushes you and keeps you going. And so that's what I want to focus in on. And as I talk, as I write, as I move through this world, it's like, y'all can give me all the information, but you can't get a Danielle Gray. And this is what like, and
Yeah.
that's why I decide to move, overall. So it's been working out. And anything that doesn't feel good or feel right, it will either move itself out the way because of that energy, or I will happily move it
Well, your
myself.
words are resonating, Maya. Thank you for joining us, Maya. She said,
Mm.
refuse to stay stuck.
Yeah,
That.
yeah.
And then she also said, love, I moved into my now husband's home and had zero desire to live in this area or a house like this. We worked on renovations, still do over the years, and I always worked on clearing old energy out. And I now find myself daily walking through these rooms. Is such love and appreciation. I intentionally continue to fill it in that way. It's the best.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Love
I
that.
love that. And then we had Brenda Lee's providing a little bit of insight into her favorite practices. She says, as soon as she wakes up, she says, I'm so happy and grateful for because. And I take a moment to appreciate everything I have
Mhm.
in my surroundings.
Gratitude is the best, honestly.
Yep. She also said the funny part that most of my clients tell me after they do the work, it is not that complicated.
Yeah,
That's right.
I totally agree. I think, these are not complex thoughts. It's just it's consistency in doing them and sticking to them. It's like, okay, gratitude is actually not a hard practice, but we have to remember and do it as often as possible. So I
Yeah,
love that. I love those.
Yeah.
I
That's
love.
the thing, that I'm hearing, is I'm hearing such intentionality, right? Like, so,
Mm,
your routine, the reason why you start your days the way that you do is, um, because you know that by putting yourself in that space to feel how you want to feel, by practicing how that will feel and
Mhm.
how it does feel, right? Like
Yep.
it becomes one, right?
Mhm.
By sitting there every day and saying to yourself, like, I'm gonna be the Danielle that I know I am,
Yeah.
and and she feels like this, and she walks like this, and she thinks like this.
Mhm.
mm,
What intention, that is transmutation of energy.
Yeah.
That is sitting with yourself and and with that intention, creating and manifesting that future you. I
Mhm.
think that's beautiful. And I think, these things are easy, but when I don't do them for like 4 days,
Yeah.
I'm like,
You can feel it.
I feel it, and I'm like, why didn't I fucking do it? I
Uh-huh.
know I love it. I know I need it.
Yeah.
You know, but why? Like, so they're just like anything, easier said than done. But you know, they are simple, and they may be small, but they matter like
Mm-hmm.
a lot. So, and then that consistency, because the word you used was practice, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
love that so much because we use that word a lot in our house and in our lives um, because when you don't have what you think you want, or when you're not quite there yet, practicing is the way that you know manifest it to happen. So I think that's like an important practice to learn, right? It's like practicing is a practice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
You have to do it. You know, like you can, I mean, there's times that I did not meditate, especially during the times that my mom was going through and we were figuring out, finding things out so quickly. I honestly did not want to hear myself.
Mm.
I didn't want to. I didn't feel like dealing with it. Um, and but talking about meditate, yeah, like I meditate, but didn't. And you know, so it's like, no, put the phone down, put everything down. Let's not you have to do it. That's, and it's not like you can do it one time and it be good. You know, you have to, it's consistent, and it's just important to keep it going. So I'm with you totally on the practice. My one of my really good friends, she teaches yoga and also just mindfulness, trauma informed things, and she
yeah.
says practice makes possible, and
Yep.
so you know that's what we have to do.
We do it with our kids. We're trauma informed, and we have a lot of neurodiversity in our house as well as
Mhm.
trauma. And we found that, and I think I've said this before, but like one of our great parenting tips is always to not focus on a consequence, not focus on a timeout. I mean, sometimes those things happen because they have to happen or whatever, right?
Right.
Natural consequences, or, you know, MF, you just need a break.
Right.
Like, sit down and
Right.
take a break because I need a break,
Yeah. Yeah.
or everything's going to go to hell, right? But when we are at our best and when we are in the ideal state, what we do is we practice that. Oh, you just called your brother a name, you know, why? Oh, okay. So what can you do next time when you're having those feelings, you know?
Mhm.
Because do you really want to hurt your brother's feelings? You know, no, you
Right.
don't, right? You know, so like, and we started doing that at a young age with all of our kids, and they grown, but they know it's coming, you know. We're like, sounds like you need to practice that. I think you're going to have to practice how to redo that, you know.
Yeah.
Have they ever done it back to you? I'm just curious. Like,
Yes, yes, all the time. And
Yeah.
so we do it to each other. We you know, we model that. But yes, they do. They're like, I think you should practice that. And I'm like, yeah.
that's what
You're
I
right.
love. That's what I love the most is like when you teach your kids something and then they end up reminding you, like when you're not in the moment or you're not doing your best, and then they remind you of those things. I'm like, oh damn.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
It's the best though, because you're like,
It's
oh,
the best.
it's great reflection. You know, you that mirror that
Yeah,
you need to be able to remind you of those things. We have a lot of new comments coming in as well. Jen saying, I do the same in the morning, but also give myself a high five in the mirror when brushing my teeth and tell myself I made it to the next day and I'm doing a good job and I'm proud of myself. I
Mhm.
love that. I think
yeah,
being you know, having that good feeling about yourself and saying, "Hey, you're doing good," you know,
Yeah.
keep it up,
Absolutely.
is important. Yeah, and then
absolutely.
Maya also said, Brenda Lee's Acosta, so true. It's only tough in the beginning because it's not yet part of our norm. Yes. And people often are ingrained to feel silly doing a practice that seems so simple. Ooh, I think that she hit upon something
Yeah.
important because And I think we've talked about this before, people have misconceptions sometimes about meditation because they think, oh, I'm not supposed to have anything in my mind and I can never do that. And it's like, no, that's not, it's about reflection. It's about, coming
Right.
back to the present and in what it is you can do in the moment. Like that's really the purpose. It's not about, yes, your mind's going to go off. You're going to start thinking about things, but why are you thinking about that? What do you need to deal with about that related to the present?
Yeah, I mean, I really like this too because meditation for me, I heard this way to describe it and it stuck with me, which is I imagine myself, one, it's not possible to not have any thoughts. We have a brain, it's gonna do
Right.
what it's gonna do.
Yeah.
But sitting at a park bench and like people walking by, right? Like just people watching, those are my thoughts. I'm not getting up and walking with that person, right?
Yeah.
I'm noticing that the thought is there. Huh, okay. And
Yep.
then so for me it's doing that, but also there's a really interesting practice that I do, and I love to tell people. But I think it's like I think everybody can have a different version of this. But there are times that I don't want to think about something, or I'm thinking about work, or how someone will perceive me, or just something that is yucky. I don't like.
Yeah.
I envision putting these things into a trash bag, right? I'm like envisioning putting in a trash bag, and there's an elevator. I'm pushing the trash into the elevator, and I press down, and it goes down.
Mm.
That's my visualization. Like when I don't want certain thoughts,
Yeah.
because especially those that are repetitive,
Mm.
healthy for me. Um, it's helpful for me to go into a visualization of literally putting them away. That is not for me. Those
Mhm.
I don't need that. Those aren't good. Or even not right now. I'm
Right.
not trying to do that right now. And
Yeah.
I put that down. So, and I do that within meditation too. Like, okay, this one is really trying to stick right here and go away, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. It took me a
Yeah.
while to be able to do that because I remember just being asleep or trying to go to sleep at night. And I had just had all these thoughts and all the things that I was worried about. And it wasn't until I was able to feel like the energy for me. I don't visualize things. I can see colors or things like that, but I have to feel the energy and I'll literally feel and feel the energy moving like out of me. Like I'm like, I'm going to take this energy, whatever it is that this is feeling, and I'm going to push it out and I'm going to give it to the universe. I'm going to say, all right, it's for you to deal with, not for me to deal with. So I would just visualize that feeling of pushing that energy. And I think it's different for everyone because like, I don't have a mind's eye. Kate doesn't have a mind's eye. We don't really visualize things. Occasionally I will, it's weird. But for the most part, I don't. So I have focused on more the feeling. And whenever I focus on the emotions, that's why I really resonated with you saying that earlier. Sometimes it's that feeling. And I think that's important as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I love the tool of actually like picturing yourself putting the thoughts you don't want into that garbage bag. I really like that. I've had success with that when I'm trying to release physical pain in my body. I will imagine or try to imagine, like it being cast away, or like I can throw it away, or I can somehow fix it, and that ability, that like picturing yourself having control over those things, for me has been powerful. I think the going back a little bit to like how you can just kind of observe your thoughts, like they're walking down the street, right? Something that has stuck with me around meditation, and there's so many different ways to meditate, right? Like, so, but one of the reasons why you meditate is to practice how to be still, or to practice how to be in that frame of mind, so that you can easily access it later if you need to, right?
Yeah.
And I love thinking about meditation that way. I also really love meditative movement, right? So many people like will say, oh, I can't clear my brain, right? Like we all know that like we can't clear our brains, right? But some people will say like, oh, I gotta move, like I can't stay still that long, and you don't have to. Like you can walk and meditate, you can be in movement, and I think that's an important aspect to like leveraging that energy that's coming out of the meditations.
Yeah, and I think breath work is also really beautiful for me too. It's something that I do practice daily is one, being aware of breath. Oh, what beautiful. I mean, what an opportunity. That shows that we're living and we're here. And so the other thing, I inhale to receive and exhale to let go. And I think part one was easy for me. Like, okay, what do I want to get rid of? I don't want this. I don't want that. But there's also that part too of like, what do I want to receive? And I think that's like, that was a real mind shift for me was, okay, like I can't just get rid of things. I'm making room for something. And I have to be intentional about receiving too, right?
Yeah.
Because I can't just be like, oh, I can do this. I can. No, you know what? Part of this gratitude, part of being a part of this universe and experiencing life is to also receive. So I had to teach myself to receive. So my practice is like literally like taking in as much air as I can, holding it. It's very uncomfortable. That's receiving. Ugh, this is uncomfortable. But the practice of that has made me more and more open to receiving, literally physically opening my hands to receive what's for me, but also I'm very big in my ancestors and all of that has made who I am, and I'm grateful for those gifts as well. So breath work, meditation, I think have literally transformed my whole life. So,
I
you know.
love that. You guys both said something that just resonated or just made me have a little bit of an epiphany on why it's so important. When we're in the heat of the moment with people, we need to be able to take a pause with individuals because other times we're speaking sometimes in a way that is not helpful, is not, sometimes it's like we lash, some that we're so used to just, going and doing that practice allows you to go, oh, I need to stop. I need to pause. I need, so for me, I just had an epiphany on, like, oh, this is also relevant because when we're in the moment of like a heated discussion, it's that practicing also of stopping and reflecting and going, okay, before you say anything, stop and think about what it is you're about to do as well.
That's so good, Sarah. Because I had a similar epiphany. I was having a conversation, and there's certain people that will like really show their mirrors. I was like, ooh, I don't like that. But it was like, well, because I was like, okay, well, what do you want to do? It's like, well, what do you want to do? Like, and I was like, because that's a practice that I have been taught, I've seen, and something that I'm working through to being very clear about what do I want. And so I think that meditation helps us with that too, is with grounding. Where do I stand? What do I see? What do I want? um, in a way that just I think grounds us too, so that we can take those breaks and like, what do I want?
Right.
I think that those pause. I think there's peace in pause, in the pause. I need to write that down. I like that.
I love that. I mean, it's the clarity you get from the pause.
Yeah.
Of, okay, well, let me sort through this. Where is it my shit, lie, and where does their shit lie, and then what's the actual middle part,
For sure. I love that.
Yeah. That was one of my, when I first started DBT therapy and I was in, just a whirlwind of emotions every single moment. One of my first and most favorite skills was the stop skill, which is just that, it's just stop and listen to yourself, stop and breathe, stop and know that you're worthy, right? I think one of the things you said, Danielle, is like, what do I want? Like
Mm-hmm.
there's the next level. The reason why that's so hard for a lot of us is that deep down inside, we may not feel worthy. We
Mm-hmm.
may not think we are worthy of that, right?
Yes.
We are like, and it's with a lot of men too. But I mean, women often, feel that they are here to serve,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so noticing that, reframing it, giving yourself permission to be uncomfortable. That was the other thing that you said, that I was like, geez, if I could just like, if I could stop every sentence that you say and then like react to it. I think it would be awkward for everybody else, but like there's so much meat in there. Like you have so many good things to say.
Right.
One of them was that, it was just like, oh, exactly. And then the other thing that really, I think, was interesting, and you kind of just like dropped it in a little bit, was you feeling in touch with your ancestors and what what that brings to the table.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's another level of energy,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's being very clear. I think that something that I worked through, especially I would say within the last 5 years or so, is I felt like I was trying to control how people saw me. And so it's like, well, I want people to know that I'm nice. So just for clarity, for those that are watching, I'm 6 feet tall. Like I'm a large energy that I tried to make smaller to make people very comfortable. I
Yeah.
didn't want to seem too aggressive or whatever because I understand how the world works, and I'm overly aware of trying to change that narrative. And so I stopped that because I'm like, you know what? I'm me. I literally can't control what you think of me, but what I can do is control how I think of me. And
Yeah.
so, and I recognize that not everybody's for me. That was a hard thing to take. I'm like, people won't like me. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. No, please don't say that. But also like I like me. And I think that is the most important part. And so my people will find their way, and I'm grateful for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Are
love that.
you a person that likes everyone too? Like, I've had this recent epiphany that, like, because I know that some people are like, oh my God, Kate is like so positive. And there are some people that are like, oh, sometimes it's like cheesy,
Yeah.
but what I don't think that they realize is that, like, I actually really do like everyone almost all the time. It takes a lot for me not to like someone, and I can see just the little parts that I like too, and I can make them into that. Like, oh, there's this little component about this person that I really like, and that's who they are now to me.
Yeah.
But then when it's flipped, or in the past, because I'm really more at peace with it now, but in the past when it was flipped and they didn't like me, I was like, well, how can that be? Like, don't they like this? Don't they think I'm funny?
Yeah.
Or, like, or can they not at least respect my intelligence? Like,
Right.
but so for me, it's a mirror, right? Just like what you were saying, and so I was curious if you feel that way too. Like, are you always kind of looking for that great thing about someone? You mentioned that you just started to, like, okay, not everyone's for me.
Such a good question. I do not like everybody. I do not. But I would not have been comfortable saying that for a long time.
Right.
And I think that one of my affirmations is I see clearly, right? And I had to say that a lot to myself. And I trust my intuition. I trust myself. I trust my intuition. I trust what I see. I see clearly. I think that there are energies that I don't connect with. I don't think that it's that I don't necessarily, I don't like them, but I'm very I believe and protect my energy. So
Good.
there are times that I'm very aware that if you are a life force, a light, there are people that are coming with their plug and they are trying to plug in.
Yep.
So I have had to work on shutting that down. There's been times that there's people that will try to connect in that way that are energy suckers, and I know that immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And there's people that will give in. I give energy to those that give that energy back, and I think that's energetically too. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
most recently I was at this really cool art exhibit. It was like a private kind of thing at a home, and this it was a South African artist. He's like his paint. Oprah has one of his paintings. He's like this awesome dude, Nelson Makamo, and he was going around. I'm just kind of hanging out. I'm like, I'm vibing. And we never really got to talking. At the very end, he was like, I've seen you all night. And he gave me a hug right off the bat. He was like, I don't know. It was just like a immediate, like, you get it. Cause he was having to give that energy, but he knew that I'm not trying to take from him. We saw each other a couple of times, like, I see you, and
Yeah.
so have that connection and just meeting we didn't even really officially meet. Our first meeting was hug, and
Oh,
I enjoy who you are energetically, and
yeah.
so and I think that gives a safe space, and that is okay with me. If that's how I'm showing up, I'm doing what I intend to do, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I love
Absolutely.
that. I'm just visualizing that in a lot of ways, because
Yeah.
as you talk, it's like holding space for yourself, your energy,
Mhm.
not trying to, when you visualize this, thinking about someone who's truly just like trying to suck the energy, or take from you, when they just need to find their own energy
Mhm. Mhm.
in things. So I love this, the visual of two people just holding space for
Yeah.
themselves, and allowing space for each other.
Yeah, and the energy to grow bigger, right? And I
Mm.
think that's the beautiful part about energy, and even transmuting and giving energy is we are better together. I can fill myself up. But it was beautiful having that time, and we ended up hanging out the whole time. It was just like it was a movie, really, honestly. But
Uh,
to be able to hold and to connect with someone that I did not know that well, it was beautiful, and I think that's what it's all about. We're just spiritual, energetic beings, and so I only want to pour into where I feel
Mm.
like I'm being poured into. And then in the places that I'm not, that's where speaking and books and that kind of thing come in. Is like, I may not be able to have that space for you personally. I may not have that space, but what I
right.
can do is share
Mm.
in the way that feels good and protected for me, that I maintain my energy, and hopefully it's helpful as whomever navigates to find their own.
I love that. Very
Absolutely.
beautiful.
Thank you.
I want to sort of identify some people that have given some comments, and then I want to do a little bit of final thoughts. So if we
Okay.
can start to think about, as we think about transmuting energy, what are the things that we would leave for the audience to think about? And so I want to pull up first. Abbas, thank you so much for joining us. He said, "For me, gratitude is a way of life, a quiet reflection that keeps me grounded. One of the simplest yet most powerful moments I feel is after eating." Yeah, I know.
Mm.
I know that is for like my husband. He loves food, and he just feels. I feel he even when he eats, he's just like, like he just like feels the
Mindful,
food.
mindful.
Yeah.
He just loves good food. He especially loves it if someone else has cooked it and it's really
Oh
good.
yeah, it's always better if somebody else cooks it
That's
for
what
sure.
he says. Brenda Lee says the best and most powerful meditation is the really messy one.
Yeah.
Ooh. And
Hmm.
she said because it provides the answers of what needs to change.
Yes, yes, I love
Yeah.
it.
The
Hmm.
last part is the change, like when you have that self-reflection of oh, that's what I need to focus on.
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Where does
powerful.
it hurt? Where is it weird? Those are the places.
Yeah, breath is such a good reset. I love that I got to listen in on a day that was so relatable. So I
Aw,
love that for you.
Good, good, good,
Yeah,
good.
and she also said that ability to learn to embrace that pause is a key to saving so many relationships and ugly experiences. Alternate perspective, when you pause, you have the ability to own your own damages. Ooh, for
Mm.
lack of better way to say it, you can then own your healing and reaction.
Mhm.
I love that.
Yeah.
And then Jen says, I actually have a necklace with a pause symbol pendant. Sometimes I hold it when I need to pause. Ooh, I need one of those.
Ah,
Well,
so
yeah.
my
good.
thoughts need to stay in my head and just listen intently. So I love all of these comments. And then one last one. Will said, it's essential to protect our energy and be selective with the people we let into our safe space. So
Absolutely.
amazing. Thank you guys for your interaction today in just helping us to explore this particular topic. And so, Danielle, I want to start with you with final thoughts on transmuting energy and what you would want to leave with our audience.
Uh, so I think there's a couple of things that come to mind. Oh, look at that. It's 11:11, right?
That's
Oh, well,
great.
at least on the East Coast, that's
Yeah.
already. Um, I think there's a couple of things that come to mind. One is,
Mm.
I think there was something around. I believe one of the listeners was talking about success and like what success is, and for me, success is if I'm proud of myself.
Mm.
It's not external. It's did I do what I said I was going to do? Did I set intentions? Did I feel good about the decisions that I made? That is success to me. Is like, you know what, I did it. And I think the other thing is, practicing your ideal self, who is being so clear about who that person was. I remember having a moment. There was a picture that I took after doing a lot of this work, and I looked at the picture. I almost didn't even recognize myself, and it was like, oh wow, I look like my ideal self right here. That is literally how I envisioned with the outfit, everything, but I didn't notice it until
Mm.
later. So I think that a big thing is deciding, and obviously all of this can change. My ideal self has changed several times, but practicing who you want to be, and just every choice we have a decision. It's not like if you didn't feel like that choice wasn't great, okay, don't get stuck on it. Continue. You have millions of choices, and we have a choice every single time. So I think that we have an opportunity every single choice. And so I think it's just like, giving yourself grace. We are not perfect beings, but we can be peaceful. And so, in accepting on what's going on. So that's what comes to mind as we close.
I love it. By
Yeah.
the way, the live stream was also on 111 while it was 11:11 when you started
Yep.
talking. So
Yep.
See? Look at that. I'm
Super
okay with
cool.
that. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and when you said it, it actually was 111:17. So like
yeah.
it was four ones. Very cool.
So good.
It
So
was
good.
like magic.
Yes.
All
I
right.
believe that's another thing. Magic is always around us. Leave room for miracles.
Oh,
Ooh.
Yeah, leave room. I always say magic
Mm.
surrounds me.
yeah.
Things are happening for me. And I believe that to be true, and that's why they come to pass. So
I
yeah,
love that.
yeah.
All right, Kate, final thoughts from you.
Oh, wow. I think my final thoughts would be around intention and choice and opportunity, right? So those things are so interconnected. But if we know ourselves and set the right intentions that are meaningful for us and are about who we want to be and how we'll best align with our values, we really can't go wrong, right? So I'm so grateful for this conversation today and for meeting you, Danielle, and for getting an opportunity to like just get a little peek into into who you are and how you have changed your world more than once during kind of darker moments. I really found it like inspiring, and I'm just grateful to have been a part of the conversation today.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. I'm going to finish sort of final thoughts. And before I do that, I just want to also invite you to come next week. Kate and I are going to be going within and diving within in energy that we have dealt with in transforming and taking that energy and transforming it into something different. So we're going to share some of our stories. And then to wrap up this particular topic, we're going to have two panelists joining us on the 25th, July 25th. We're going to have Seth Harrison, who is superintendent at Skiles Group and also co-host of the Build the Culture podcast. And we also have Melissa Smith, project manager at H.J. Russell and Company. So both of those individuals will be joining us to talk about shifting gears and how to unleash that energy to deal with life's barriers. So for me, final thoughts are: one, thank you everyone for joining us and for the interaction. Two, thank you so much, Danielle. I very much appreciate you joining us today. Your energy is always the thing that I see first. I feel like people feel you before they see you.
Thank you.
And I think that that's what's important in life, is we think about the energy that we're emitting, and also understanding how it is that it might feel to others. It's okay how it is that it might feel, because that might mean that they have a shift in how it is that they think. It might mean that they have to deal with the uncomfortableness within them. It may mean that they reflect and see beautiful, amazing aspects of themselves from the energy that is emitted from each person. So embrace the energy that is within you, but constantly look at how you can shift your energy as well to make it be where you're happy with the energy of who you are. And that's ultimately what it's about, is finding that energy that you are happy with.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
What a great wrap up. I mean, gosh.
Yeah.
This is such a pleasure. Such a pleasure.
I think sometimes it just comes from somewhere else.
Yeah.
And it does. And it does. I think that's beautiful. We could do that. We could literally talk about this all day.
Oh my gosh, I know.
I love
I
that.
say that so often at the end of the episodes. It's like, but it really is. It's like, how did we get past an hour already? How are we done? We just began.
I know it. So great. Thank you all so much for having me. And for those that are watching, I'm on Instagram, DanielleGray.speaks, and also LinkedIn, Danielle Gray MBA. So would love to connect. And
Yes. And then be on the lookout for her as she comes out with a book. And
yes.
and are you able to also announce anything as far as like other upcoming speaking events or things like that?
Yeah, so the main one is going to be for the Pacific Regional Conference of SMPS, for those that are familiar, and that's going to be in Seattle next March. But the book is on its way. I'm very passionate about that, and working through doing some meditations as well on Insight Timer. Those are something that you do too. So I'm just expanding, seeing what works, what sticks, and allowing myself to try things. So yeah, I'll be around. Follow, and then we'll stay connected.
I love
So
it.
cool.
Yes.
Can't wait.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Well, again, thank you for joining us. Thank you, Kate, for being an amazing co-host. And thank you, everyone. And the new people that joined us. Come back. We're here every week. So we look forward to seeing you again. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.